the hide stream button. I do this every single time. Hold up. Yes, pause that. I hate mobile where it doesn't let me hide the, there we go, hide chat. Okay, much better. Now I can see what I'm doing. Hi guys, and welcome back to Coop Cakes. This week we are going to be making sunflower and daisy cupcakes. This isn't a fancy recipe. The flavor is not going to be different, but we are going to be doing some neat decorating techniques to make them look like flowers, and they're going to look really great. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Let me just get right on that, and yeah, there we go. Okay, neat. So let me turn the camera down here so you can see what I'm doing while I do it. Every single time we do this, I have the strong, intense desire to just get a secondary camera, because these transitions are no fun at all. So yes, sunflower and daisy cupcakes. Camera, focus. Thank you. Scoot you forward some. There we go. Yes, flower cupcakes. Flowers are quite possibly one of the most popular things to put on a cake. Not hearts, not balloons, although they're kind of up there, but no, flowers. They're good for anything. You can make them out of any color you want. You can have pretty much any genus of flower you like, so everyone gets their favorite. Hello, Jen! Welcome to the stream. Ours says, it takes a lot of effort not to say hello on initial hopping in. Well, hello to you too, Ours. I'm happy to see you. Butterflies aren't as easy to make with frosting. So unless you actually already have the plastic butterflies pre-made, they're not as diverse in terms of what you can do with them. Usually people only want butterflies if they want like a pretty princess girly kind of cake, whereas flowers can be any color you want. They can be roses, daisies, sunflowers, whatever you like. So they work a lot better. And I figured I might as well do something with frosting flowers since I haven't up until this point. So, I don't know if you guys saw the intro. We're not doing any fancy recipe this week. It's just going to be me making a regular box mix, and then all the fun stuff will happen after they come out of the oven, which is kind of a shame. I kind of feel like it's a bit of a slog watching me do the same thing every single week and only getting to the fun bits in the last like 45 minutes. Hey Kaiju, how you doing? Glad you can make it to the stream. But yeah, unless we want to just have me decorating, which would only take, again, an hour or so. You guys got to sit here and watch me do the whole thing. Yes, you do hear Wrigley. He's snooping about, but he's not coming over my way just yet. If he does, I'll pick him up so you can say hello. Actually, the babies are home too. My beautiful wife is home from work early. So the little potatoes are in the vicinity as well. I don't know. No, the camera doesn't catch them. Good. They're literally like right behind me. So, but luckily they have calmed down. Seymour, the little boy, has learned that if normal whining does not get the attention of the humans when he is hungry, he has a new secret weapon, and that is just straight up screaming. That is, he like opens his mouth as wide as it goes and just goes, ah, with every ounce of effort he has in his tiny body. It's hilarious, but not when you are the affected parents who are tired from getting up every 3 hours to feed them, and you want nothing more than some peace and quiet. That's me. We haven't slept properly in 3 weeks, and we got like 3 or 4 more to go. It's a time. It's a time. Alrighty then. So, as usual, stick of butter, 3 of my farm fresh eggs, a cup of milk, and unlike last week, I have not forgotten any ingredients. I have gone to great measures to make sure that I do not forget any ingredients, because I have been embarrassed about that pretty much for the past 7 days. All right. Time for everyone's favorite part of the stream. It's time for so hold on to your butts. Now, I don't think there's any way that I can actually show you this, but unfortunately, the butter is not combining as nicely as I would like. Normally, when I have a stream, I put my butter out on the counter to soften naturally all on its own at room temperature for most of the day. I completely forgot about that this morning, however. So while the oven was warming up, I had my butter sticks on them and I was just rotating them every few minutes, so that now one side ended up getting too melted, so that ended up becoming liquid and spreading all over the stovetop. But unfortunately, they're melted enough, but not to the point where I would like that they combine nicely. There's going to be teeny tiny chunks of butter floating around in this. And I've read from some bakers that they prefer this because the individual tiny chunks of butter will end up melting as they cook and create like pockets of air, which makes them fluffier. I have never experienced this myself. It doesn't change the taste of the cake, but it always worries me just a little bit. So if you end up making cakes on your own time, definitely give your butter enough time to soften. That's my official tip. It's also kind of hard to know exactly when the batter is properly combined. Last week, I briefly touched upon the dangers of overmixing your batter. Let's see, get this more in center. There we go. It's difficult to tell if these little teeny tiny chunks that I'm seeing are from butter or if they're actually like the powder from the baking mix that hasn't quite properly combined. So I'm going to take a risk and leave it be because I do not want to overdo this. All right. Oh, and of course, I thought I had everything in order. Hold on one second. I forgot the baking cups. Yoink. I spend way too much time doing my best to make sure that I have everything that I need beforehand. But alas. Hello, beautiful.
Where's Carol for Wiggly Watch?
That person yelling at you would be your sibling.
I know who Kaiju Cootie is.
All right. Just double checking.
Hello, Jin.
Yes. Everyone type hello to my beautiful wife.
Hi, Mimi.
These papers have started spreading out a little bit. They don't sit down in the thing properly. Excuse me, Kaiju. You can yell at your sibling on your own time in your own stream? Right now it's cupcakes.
I can't help it. I'm the star of the show.
Oh, you hush.
Everyone loves me. Hi.
That's ours.
Oh, yes.
It is not pronounced arse. We've established this. Although, if my beautiful wife were
Why is there a
to...
shot of our living room? Our messy living room.
I was messing with the camera, and it's paused on my end. Because I'm using mobile Twitch, and I am unable to see both what my camera is getting and the chat at the same time. Ergo, I require my additional computer. If my beautiful wife were so inclined, she could pick up our beautiful son so we can do a Wrigley watch.
But Carol's not here.
Well, she can watch it back after the fact. Okay, here he is. It's Wrigley. The one we all love and adore.
He's gonna be your mascot, let's be real. The chickens are not.
Yeah, the chickens, surprisingly, do not have a whole lot of presence in this show, aside from the eggs. Yes, hello. Alright, put them down. I gotta wash my hands and get back to the cupcakes.
I love you.
So there you go, guys.
And you.
Stay. That was on camera, beautiful.
Oh well.
Oh my gosh. This is a PG-13 stream, darling.
Says who?
Says me.
Okay.
None of you tell your parents you saw that. That's risky business and is against the Twitch standard of conduct. Yes, hello.
I love you.
I love you too. All right. Hygiene is important, people. I know y'all yell at me if I dare touch the dog and then not wash my hands afterwards. All right. Back on track. Cupcakes. All right. Now, where did I put that scoop? So, Kaiju says, yes, because it is gross. You want dog hair and cupcakes? No. I mean, you might. Added protein. There is some health benefit to it, I swear. Alrighty then. So, after much careful deliberation, I did decide to keep on using the scoop, at least until I get something slightly better. Because despite the butter fiasco of last week, the blue cupcakes that I wasn't able to complete on stream came out quite nice. I was quite happy with the shape of them. So, I think I'm going to stick with this scoop until I can get one that's ever so slightly smaller. Now, sunflower and daisy cupcakes. What exactly am I going to do to them to make them look like flowers? I do have the tools required to make a frosting rose, which I will probably attempt to do if I have any frosting left over, so you guys can see that. It's pretty cool. But sunflowers and daisies are not quite so easily made. I could do the daisy pretty easy if I were to use the open-ended tips that I have been using for the bubble borders. I just have to do a little dragging motion with one of those to make the petals and then a little yellow dot in the center. But the idea that I saw that got me going in this particular direction involves putting candy on top of the cupcakes in order to replicate the look of a flower. The sunflowers, not so much. The sunflowers I will be making using frosting. And I'm going to be breaking out a couple of tips that I haven't yet shown you guys. Junmon says, I like the ice cream scoop. Thank you. It's just quite nice. But currently it is a batter scoop, so, sweaty. Get your facts straight. I'm just kidding, Jin. I love you. Yes, new tips. I'm going to be showing you guys my leaf tip. I'm going to be showing you guys the grass tip. And I'm not going to be using them for leaves or grass, which is very exciting. I'm a rebel without a cause. I will be using some chocolate, not chocolate frosting, because I am not in the mood to mess with cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is honestly the worst. If it's like just regular chocolate sitting out, I can avoid it. But cocoa powder, once it poofs and gets in the air, there is no escaping it. And for anybody new in the audience, if you do not know, I am deathly allergic to chocolate. So every time everybody suggests that I do a chocolate-based recipe, I just kind of smile and no. I like living, thank you. There will be some chocolate involved. There are some chocolate candies, and I do have protective gear to prevent me from keeling over on camera. Am I going to have enough? I think I have just enough batter for 2 more. See, this is what I was talking about earlier about getting a smaller scoop. This is approximately the exact amount of batter that I'm supposed to have per cupcake, but I always run out right at the end. So if I can slightly underfill my cupcake papers so I can at least get a full 24 cupcakes, that would be the ideal. Yes, Kaiju, you are correct. My wife is a hoe for German chocolate. She's insistent that I do an entire stream just on German chocolate as some sort of proof, some test of my love. I might actually end up doing it at some point, but today is not that day. I want to be conscious for the entire stream. I'll just plop a little more on top. They could use it here. All right. So, that is all of the cupcakes done and dusted. Let me take off my mic for a second. I will get them into the oven, and I'll be right back. Right. 20 minutes on the clock. Okay. Kaiju has suggested that she could make them, and I could advise her on the stream. Well, that is a fantastic idea, except for one thing in particular. We are very stubborn people, individually. Neither of us take direction from other people very well. So, for the sake of our relationship, we don't bake together. We tried. Didn't quite work out. A shame, but c'est la vie. Alrighty then. Now, while that's going, we're going to start working on the frosting. Again, nothing fancy. Nothing all that fancy, which is kind of a shame. But it's what we got to do. We will be coloring this frosting, though. We are going to need yellow, a decent amount of yellow for both the center of the daisy and for the sunflower petals themselves. We are going to need a little bit of brown. I'm only going to do one of the sunflowers with a brown frosting center so I can show off that grass tip. But the other ones are going to have chocolate chips for the center to replicate sunflower seeds, which I think is going to be very cute. Alrighty then. So, our frosting recipe is as follows. 2 softened sticks of butter. Very nice. Did I say frosting powder? Did I say frosting powder? I did not intend to say frosting powder because this is not frosting powder, it is powdered sugar, of which we are going to need approximately 3 cups, included in small batches. So I got a half cup here. So that is 1/2. And this is 2 halves to make 1 cup. I'll combine that much. Alrighty then. Oh, and of course, I'm a fool. I didn't even think about that. I gotta rinse off the batter things here. batter things. The paddles. I know how to use the language of English. I can speak the good. It's frosting powder. Okay, Jun, if you say so, if you insist, it's now canon. I'll have to relabel every bag of powdered sugar in the house to reflect this change. It will be a bit of a strain on my personal resources and time, but, you know, you're the boss. You're the boss. Hello. Camera. I wish this thing would stop going out of focus. It's kind of a bummer. Ba-ba-da. Doop. Yes, my internal canon is ever evolving. The long backstory of how I came to be and how we all came to be here in its constant twists and turns are ever so interesting and shall be expanded upon in 6 incredibly mediocre anime movies spread out over at least 8 months apiece with no actual resolution at the end. Yes, I'm salty about Digimon Try. Okay, so where did my little things go? My teaspoon and my tablespoon. I thought I had them pulled out already. Let's see. Well, here is the tablespoon. Kaiju has said, I have an immersion blender. Would you like to use it for baking? Immersion blender. I've never tried using an immersion blender. If you are not actively using it and you wanted to let me borrow it for a smidge, I can definitely give it a run. Give it a go. I hate doing this, but I gotta take the microphone off for a second. I gotta get that teaspoon measurement real quick. Tablespoon. 1 teaspoon. Here we go. No, Jun, I do not want to be immersed in batter, for that has raw dairy in it. And I do not want milk seeping into my pores for a number of reasons. So, we use 1 tablespoon of milk. And then, for flavor, we do 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Badoop. All right. Now, let's get this all together, and I'll be right back with you guys. I can smell the alcohol from that vanilla extract. It kind of kicked up and hit me in the face. Woo! Now, in case you're wondering, the thing where I slowly lift it up before turning it off, that allows whatever is stuck inside the individual tines to be thrown out against the side. Lift it up too quickly and you have it splatter all over your working space. Just to make sure that everything blends properly. Okay, so this is not enough powdered sugar, or frosting powder. So I'm going to add another cup and mix that up. And then we're going to taste test it to see if we need another cup. So this makes 2 cups so far. Some people put in much as 4 cups in, depending on how sugary they like their frosting, or how thick they like it to be. I still want my frosting to have a little bit of give to it. some of this powdered sugar is sticking to the sides. So I'm going to grab my spatula and give it a quick scrape. Just so we don't have any powdery surprises when we're trying to get it into a frosting bag later. All right, and let me just scrape it off on this. There we go, because this is going right back in. Does that matter when using it to decorate? Sometimes. If the frosting you're using is too stiff, it can be hell on your hands trying to squeeze it through. It usually has better hold once it's out, but depending on the temperature of the frosting itself when you're actively using it and what you're trying to use it for, having it be too stiff is just making it's working harder, not smarter. So. Alright then, let me take a little taste. My hands are washed, I promise, they're washed. So, whoop, and no, I think one more cup of sugar should do. That will bring us up to 3, which is about where I usually do. The thing is, for real buttercream, for people who are like snobby about that sort of thing, they want the taste of the butter to be in there. But if they taste more butter than anything else, it is technically not frosting. Like, they'll turn their nose up at it. So it's this fine line. Where are you going? No? Oh, okay. I'll see you later then. Love you. Everyone say goodbye, my beautiful wife.
Don't forget about the children.
I won't. Yes, Kaiju, she's on her way. You've officially stolen her from me. At some point, I'll get tasting spoons. Honestly, I already should, but, like, you guys aren't eating this. Like, come on. This is for me. So really, what does it matter? Oh no, I can't eat these cupcakes. I don't know where I've been. Goodbye, beautiful wife, says Jen. She's already gone. You're too late. I'm sorry. That delay on Twitch is a killer, isn't it? All right. This should be the last round, so hold on. I lied. The sugar's sticking to the inside, so let me scrape this real quick. Get spoons for the aesthetic. Honestly, at some point, I would love to replace all of my materials so they all match. That's just a vain thing for me. I don't need them to be replaced. Everything that I have works perfectly fine. But I would love if all of my bowls, all of my measuring cups, all of those matched perfectly, and preferably if the apron matched as well. That would be fun. But alas, we currently have 4 viewers, and that's the average that I get. So I don't think that this audience is stable enough for me to actually invest in merchandise yet. Just yet. We'll get there. Maybe. Okay. Looking real nice. Okay. And here we have our delicious vanilla frosting. Very nice, very nice. Now, we have 7 minutes left on the cupcakes, and we still have to mix a little bit of this up with some colors. So let me get this out of the way, and let me get the hand mixer somewhere safe so it's not in our way. Because I don't think I'm going to need it again for this stream. Nope, I should be good. Let me not knock down the camera. Aha! Aha! We might actually go through a whole stream without this thing falling over. Knock on wood. So, this is out of the way. Let me grab a couple of bowls so that we can start mixing up the colors. We need yellow and we need brown. How much yellow do I need? I think what I'm gonna do before I do anything is I'm going to make up a frosting bag of just whites because I am going to need a little bit of white. Or am I? No, I think I'm gonna, no, I am gonna need just a little bit of white. Just a smidgen of white. So, let me pull this up just a little bit. Get these out of the shot. Okay, neat. So, frosting bag. We are not going to be using the large cupcake tips. We're not using these guys this time because we are going to be doing some detail work, and those usually require a decent amount of frosting. We don't want to overload it by doing a regular amount of frosting and then using more frosting to put a design on top. Like, that's just way too much frosting. And nothing rustles my jimmies more than seeing somebody use cupcakes as a vehicle for moving frosting to their mouths. Like, when you have a cupcake that's like this much cake and then this much frosting, that's just overdoing it. Guys, like, no. Just literally have a bowl of frosting at that point. Like, dang. Jun has asked, so how do you make the brown color? Well, I've never done it myself, actually, but I am told it is 10 parts yellow to 1 part red to make a tan, and then you add blue and green to darken it. So we're gonna try doing that. All right, so I've made a bag. What tip am I gonna use? I'm gonna need none of these tips. I have a flat tip, not an open tip, mind you, a flat tip that I'm going to use to make a simple stripe. So here's a flat tip. You can see on one end it has little teeth, and then on the other end it's just sheer right across. This is a 2-use tip, so that if you want just a single straight line, like a ribbon of frosting, you can choose to have it be completely flat, or you flip it over, and it has a neat little lines on the top for to give it some texture, which I think is absolutely fantastic. While we're here, I'm going to grab the leaf tip that I need, and the rose tip that I need, and the grass tip. So I have them. I really should have grabbed those ahead of time, but c'est la vie. That is the recurring trend on this stream. Gotta thinks he has everything. Turns out he doesn't. Alrighty then. Bye, Kaiju, if you're still here and can actually hear me. Tell me why if I say hello. So, I am going to use the ribbon tip and put that on because this is what I'm going to need it for right off the bat. And I'm going to go ahead and put some frosting in this just so I have it, and then we'll get started on coloring what's left. I really don't want to have to make more frosting on top of what I've already made. What about the tree tip? Is this a joke? Because you're like, oh, he has a leaf tip, he must have a tree tip. Ha ha ha, bark tip. What would I use for bark? Honestly, I probably would just use a regular flat tip for bark. I wouldn't try to make the texture of a tree using a single tip. If I'm going to put a frosting tree, it's going to be on a large cake, and it's going to be a thick tree it's going to be like a large tree, not like a little teeny tiny small one. So what I would probably do is have differing colors of brown, and using probably the flat ribbon tip that I'm going to be using, I would go up and down it with the different colors to give it the impression of the texture of tree bark. I've done something similar to it once, Didn't come out all that great, but it was an official design that the bakery wanted us to do, so we just kind of went with it. Looked kind of cartoony. All right, let me just squeeze the air bubbles out of this. Okay. Ta-da. Put that to the side. Now, I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to pull the camera back down now. Camera. All right. Pull the camera back down. We're going to get a dollop. Not a lot, just a little boop. Should I grab more than that? I'll grab more than that. Worst case scenario, I'll have enough for 2. Because we're only using this for the centers of a couple of the cupcakes. So I don't want to make too much, because that would not go well. Nothing worse than getting halfway to the end of the project and realizing that you're not going to have enough of the color you need. All right, now let me grab my colors, and I'm going to grab a fork. Jen says, do a dollop of daisy. Yes. Yes, sour cream is not a thing that I have a lot of, so that's not something I have really... I've heard it before, I've heard the jingle, but I've never had a reason to like associate it with the brand because I never buy sour cream, so whatever. All right, so if my research was correct, to make a brown color, it's going to be 1 part red and 10 parts yellow. So I'm going to dollop red, badoop. Okay. And then, this is me just guesstimating. That's blue. I don't want blue yet. And this should make it... Did I put the wrong cap on at one point? Oh, I'm so upset with myself for this. Yeah, I guess this was the red cap at one point, and I put it on yellow. So now it's got ran all over the tip. That's gross. Don't do that, kids. Don't do that at home. I'm going to go by instinct, mostly because this isn't... Oh, let me get the cupcakes out real quick. You know what? I'm going to drag you guys over. Let's go look at them together. Let me grab the oven mitt. And with my one hand... come on, get on. Let's turn off this so it doesn't scream at me. And... Oh, but these look nice. Ooh, the steam came out. A cloud of steam hit me in the face. That's fun. Ah, look at these. Look at these bad boys. These are delicious. All right. Yes. After 2 streams of having my cupcakes come out not the greatest, this is really nice. I'm really happy with this. The babies are awake. If they start crying, I'll have to move them to the next room. Okay. So, let's get back to the frosting while those cool. But yes, what were we talking about? You were asking about... Yes, will you say frosting just in case or go by instinct or sight? I'm going to go by instinct this time because this is not something I'm selling. If I had a set amount of cupcakes that have been requested, I would probably have done this like 2 or 3 times before so I knew exactly how much I'm going to need. But for right now, this is a test anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so let's get to mixing and we'll see what becomes of this. Puppies want the cupcakes. I don't think they know what cupcakes are currently. Like that isn't a thing that they know. This is looking more yellow than tan. Oh no, it's kind of looking that way. It's looking a little better. It's getting there. I got a bunch of white here. I mean, this is kind of tan. I don't want to add too much more red or it'll just turn it to an orange. Well, this is kind of a tan. Kind of. It looks a lot brighter on the screen, actually, now that I'm looking at it. So you guys can't tell. Rip. So I'm going to add a dollop of green and a dollop of blue because I have been told that will lighten this up. Doop. Not lighten this up, but darken it. The opposite of what I meant. Okey-doke. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. If this doesn't work, I can call the internet a liar and just switch to plan B, which is use chocolate chips. Because I don't think this is working. This is just turning into it green. This is just turning it green. This is not turning it tan at all. I am upsetty. Yeah. No, this is just turning it green. It's a nice green, actually. Well, it's kind of like avocado, if I'm honest. Well, that's a little upsetting. But we won't let it hurt us. We won't let it get us down. We're not going to cry about it. We are going to set this aside, and I'll use it maybe, probably not. I'm afraid if I add a bit more red, well, you know what? Why not? Why not? This is all about experimentation anyway. Add a bit more red, and we'll see what that gets us. I don't know, it's got kind of more of a purple sheen to it. Let me get all of this off. It's looking more brown. Yeah, it's looking a little more brown. Okay, so maybe the internet wasn't full of shit. For once. I still don't feel like using it. Like, it seems like a shame to have gone through all the effort, but it's not what I was expecting. So, I'm just going to put it aside and say, forget it. We tried. Better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Now, the rest of this needs to be pure yellow. Do I want to use a spatula for this? I could. Yeah. But yes, the rest of this needs to be pure yellow. So I am just going to... There's still red on the inside of this cap, because of course there is. Whatever. It won't matter. So I'm just going to squeeze. There we go. Now, since I'm doing this in large quantities, I do not feel bad just squeezing a bunch of dye in at once, because even though it's a dark, dark yellow in its dye form, the moment we add it to this white, you can see it's immediately bright as all get out. And I want my flowers to be a vibrant yellow, but not so vibrant that you can't tell they're yellow. You know what I mean? Actually, this mixed out pretty nice. I don't think I'm going to need too much more than this. I think this should be okay. Can you see? Yeah, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more, and I'll call that good. And then, finally, we can get to the fun stuff. The bits where I make the decorations on the cupcakes. Ho, ho, ho. The part you've all been waiting for. Right. Fantastic. Looks like egg yolk on screen. Yeah, it does look a little brighter, which is a shame, but there's not much I can do about it, unfortunately. Well, get better lighting, probably. I currently only have the overhead light, and that only does so much. So, I'm going to make up another bag of frosting. Hello. Do. And then we get to the fun bits. Junmon says, "Get a better camera." Thanks, Jun. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. That's the one thing that I've been waiting for somebody to tell me. It's the only thing keeping me from just going out and buying a camera. I was just waiting to be told. I just needed somebody to look me in the theoretical, not literal eye and say to me, "Gata, your setup sucks. You should invest a lot of money in this." And then I just say, "Okay, yeah, I'll do that." That's the one thing I was waiting on, and you provided it. This is all sarcasm, by the way. Technology is not cheap, my friend. I'm sure you know this. And I'm not doing this professional or anything. So, like, do you think the quality is serviceable? Do you enjoy watching me bake cupcakes on my shitty camera? Shitty phone camera, I meant. My shitty camera. Yeah, I love you too, Jen. All right, let me get the rest of this frosting in here. Okay. And then we have a bag of yellow frosting and a little bit on here. Delicious. Let me put this in the sink with some other stuff. Wash my hands real quick like. Alrighty then. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, which one do you want to see first? Do you want to see the all frosting cupcakes, or do you want to see the one that involves candy? Vote now on your phones. Gotta wait for that delay though. Do. Frosting or candy? Take your pick. They'll both get done. It's just a matter of which one you want to do first. Let me grab the cupcakes real quick. All frosting it is. Let me just set these up like so. Okay, all frosting it is. So I'm gonna pull this camera down so you guys can get a better look at what I'm doing while I do it. Move this out of the way. And let me move these guys into frame. Here. Better yet, I'll move the camera instead. Oh ho ho. Hollywood magic. Alrighty then. So, the all frosting ones are going to be the sunflower ones. And we are going to start with just a little bit of white. We are going to make a strip around the outside because the sunflower is going to have a brown center. And then I'm going to be using the leaf tip to make individual petals going out. But because they start from the center and fan out, there's going to be some spots on the edge where there isn't any frosting from those petals. So in order to keep the cupcake looking balanced and to prevent some dry cupcake from being visible, we're going to put a strip of white around the outside. So let's do that. My hand's a little shaky. If I had a turntable, this wouldn't be so bad, but that's fine. Just a little strip like that. And I'm going to repeat the process. For all 6 of these. Now, what got me inspired to make these, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you know that the flowers that I have planted have started to bloom. The sunflowers that I planted, one of them is big and bright and yellow and happy, and she is looking absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of her. I didn't think she'd make it. Apparently in these parts, our soil isn't all that great for sunflowers. They can be a little picky. But I managed to at least get 2 happy and healthy. And one of them, yeah, this looks horrible. One of them managed to actually get all big and pretty, and I love her. Now, I'm going to also use some of this white to make a little dollop in the center, because this is what we're going to be using a candy center for this one as well, since the frosting did not pan out. So we want to have something there, kind of like glue. What's the word? Not a lubricant, the opposite. Adhesive. We want some kind of adhesive to make sure the individual candy bits stay in place. Okay? Now, we move on to the yellow. Now, this is a leaf tip, which is normally used for leaves. But if you do it just right, you can also use them for petals and just generic straight lines that have a little bit of a curve to them in a sense. I don't know if you can tell the tip, focus, how it seems to have those little teeth, like on the top and the bottom, the nom nom. When the frosting comes out, that means that on the side, the height will be the same as the height of the frosting coming from the center, but there will be 2 like little forks going right through it, which gives it like a dimension of, it gives a texture to it, I guess. But you'll see in a second. I think I put too much frosting in this. I can't get a good enough grip. Alrighty then. So we're going to start from the center. And we're going to go out like this. And doop. Oh, I didn't put enough white. That's going to be a problem. Oh well. I'll just add another strip of white before I do the other ones. That's good to know. Let me rotate you. I think I'm letting it build up too much. These don't actually really look all that sunflowery now that I'm looking at them. Maybe this was the wrong tip for this. That's embarrassing. Well, okay. Let me set this to the side. I'll take this away. None of you saw anything. Didn't exist, didn't happen. I'm going to put another strip. Jun seems very excited. How, though? Cupcake magic. That's all I can tell you. And magicians do not reveal their secrets, except for the fact that I have been telling you my secrets on stream. Oh, you want to see it? Okay, well, it's not all that great, unfortunately. Still haven't got the center to it, so maybe I can doctor it up a little bit, make it look a little bit better. Maybe if I did a second layer of petals, that might help. I'll try that. I have the frosting for it, so it's not like it's going to be a big deal. Let me put this here. I guess I'll drag you back. Let me do another. Yeah, it does look like leaves. That's why it's called a leaf tip. Nah, this is not working out as planned. This isn't making it look any better. Partly it's the yellow. Yellow is a really weird color to work with. It either comes out looking perfect or it doesn't look all that great. But this looks a little bit better. I like it. You see that? Very pretty. Now, if this were green and you had some little like red round sprinkles, I guess, you can make this one a hecking good Christmas wreath. All right. So let me try making these guys. I'm gonna make these a little fatter. See if that helps at all. Fatter. I don't think it's gonna. Nope. Alright, so maybe these aren't going to be very good sunflowers. But I think they are still quite pretty. I'd think you'd use a grass texture tip because sunflower petals are so short and curve as you go. Not quite, and I think I'll show you why. Let me grab that grass tip. The grass tip is really interesting because it's not so much, it's used to make grass, but it's more like a spaghetti tip. So who shall be my unfortunate tester? I think you, my friend, shall be my unfortunate tester. All right, so grass tip. I'm going to show you how we make grass. You start from the bottom, and as you squeeze, you slowly pull up until you release. So, like let it build up and boop, and boop, and boop, like so. And you let it fall where it may, like this. If this were green, this would look a lot like grass. Focus. Alas, it is not. So, camera. So, if I were to try to make petals, it would look more like spaghetti. Like so. See? Doesn't look bad. But not quite what we're getting at. My wife is going to come home and she's going to look at this and she'll go, Gato, what the fuck were you doing on stream? And I'll tell her it was for science. Ta-da-da! Put that out of the way. And I'm going to switch back to the leaf tip for the time being. And we'll get the petals on these last 3 cupcakes real quick. And then we'll move on to the daisy cupcakes. Because the daisy cupcakes, knock on wood, are going to be harder to mess up. I keep forgetting that my camera is slightly off-centered. It's like the screen's here, but then the camera's like on the side. So I try to center it up, and then I'm like, well, no, everything's off to the side. Oop. Now, had I made a decent amount of green frosting, I could have done one layer like this with green to make the petals, and then switched over to yellow for the opposite so it looked like there was leaves beneath the actual flower itself. Also, this frosting is starting to melt, which is not good. I've been handling it a bit too much. And my hands are just naturally warm. And zoop, 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 zoop. All right. One last cupcake. Let's get you out of the way so they can see all the wonderful folks at home. I'm rushing through this now, and it's showing. The next bit is where we're going to make the center, the sunflower CD center. My sunflowers are not old enough to have seeds yet, but we'll get there eventually. The plan is to keep propagating them over and over and just grow more and more sunflowers to the point where we have a surplus that we can start feeding them to our chickens, which would be very nice. I'm sure the chickens would appreciate that. Now, let me just arrange these like so. Now, for this next bit, the next part of this demonstration, I'm going to put gloves on because we are going to be opening and manipulating semi-sweet chocolate morsels. If anybody here is religious, pray for me. I'm going to need the intervention of something divine. All right, let me open this up. Hold my breath. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have these itty bitty morsels. And if I keep the bag away from my face and I grip it just so, I can drop it and it will fall on the wrong side. I really should have tweezers for this. Don't touch the evil chocolate. Thank you, June. I shall take your sage advice into consideration. I could just dump these on top of it, but I really want them to be in the center to replicate the look of sunflower seeds. Here we go. This looks nothing like a sunflower. Fucking rip. Yeah. The next time I do this, if I do this, I'm going to need to mess around with my tips to try to find one to properly replicate the look of sunflower petals. And also, I'm going to need a better system for applying these chocolate chips. Because this looks alright, but it doesn't quite look how I wanted it. Ah, well. Just a little bit more and I can put this bag away. And that's good. That's good. That's good. All right. And there you have it, folks. My attempt at sunflower cupcakes. Ta-da! They still look like they'll taste good, though. I'm sure my wife will appreciate them. So I'm going to move these off to the side. And I do not have any more of my fancy cupcake containers, unfortunately. I am currently out. I'm working on getting replacements in, but that's then, this is now. Alrighty then. So I'm also going to pop this guy back up here just for a bit. Let me actually I'm going to grab my big cupcake container and get these things locked up because they have chocolate on them and I'd rather them not be right next to my face. Do-do-do. Ta-da! And we shall just set these locked right in here. Ba-do. Okay. Put the lid on it. Seal it. Seal the evil away. grab the next cupcakes that we are going to decorate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's all I need. Alrighty then. Now this next one involves a little bit of chopping. So we're going to grab our cutting board, and we are going to grab a bag of big marshmallows. These daisy cupcakes are going to have yellow frosting as the adhesive. So we're going to do a few strips of yellow frosting. We are going to chop some marshmallows into 3s to make the petals. And then we're going to have a mini Reese's Pieces as the black head in the center. So there's a bunch of marshmallows. Ba-doo-ba-doo. Let's see what this. And I have with me a large knife. Oh. So now, I have never done this before, so hopefully these cut nicely. They squish a little bit is the problem. I can probably flatten them out with my fingers. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Like little bottle caps. Neat. So let's see here. I'm going to want 5 petals per flower. So that's 5 times 6 is 30. And I get 3, so I'm going to want 10 marshmallows in total. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll grab 5 more. And we'll chop all of these guys up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1 for the cook. Oh, love me some marshmallow. Good stuff, good stuff. My personal favorite, if I'm honest. I am not a big candy guy, not in the least. I like bubblegum. I like Twizzlers. And I like marshmallows, and that's pretty much it. Not a big fan of anything else. You think about it, once chocolate is out of the equation, like what else is there? You know? Everything is chocolate these days. These are sticking like crazy, and I'm not having as easy a time forming them as I thought I was going to. I wonder if I could buy marshmallow discs anywhere. If that's a thing that companies sell, like flat but round marshmallows. I know they have flat square marshmallows for use in s'mores, but I don't know if they have them in disc form. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, this is almost tear-shaped. Looks more like a petal, actually. So maybe I'll keep them a little swished. Just a little bit. Whoopsie. Let go. One. A 2. 3. How many licks to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Luckily, I never made it to the center of a Tootsie Pop. I always got bored as a kid and never made it to the Tootsie Roll on the inside, which in hindsight was probably for the best, considering. The allergy didn't really kick in until I was in high school, though. So for a few blissful years, I was able to partake of chocolate and wonder what this funny feeling it gave me was without it actually completely and totally debilitating me. All right, so that's out of the way. We have all of these chopped. I'm going to set them off to the side. And I'm going to pull the camera back down, and we're going to get to decorating these last 6 cupcakes. Oh, of course the camera doesn't bounce. Alrighty then. I think this is going to be a short stream this week. We've already been going for a little over an hour, but I can't foresee it going much longer. So I think we'll probably end up saying goodbye sooner rather than later. Do I want to switch tips or stick with the flat tip? I think I'm not going to spend time washing out the flat tip because it currently has white frosting in it. But I think I'm going to switch over to my rose tip with the yellow. The rose tip is used for making frosting roses, of course. That's the name. And as you can see, it's wider on one end and thinner on the top. This allows you to switch back and forth for various detailing stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use it like a flat bit and roll it around this way. And I'm going to do it twice. So the bit where it's thinner, so the frosting will be flatter to the top of the cupcake, I'm going to go over it again with the thick side so it'll like kind of balance it out. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to hold it in my hand this time because rotating it down there, whoops, round and round and round we go. And a little bit more. Well, you can't see it when I hold it in my hand, so that probably isn't the best, not the best radio. Is this good radio? I'll never know. Honestly, I don't know why I bother so much about the actual balances. We're just going to be pushing candy down onto it. So, I'm just going to go ham. Yeah, they do look like pretty good petals, don't they? Before we go, I'll probably show you how I make an actual frosting rose, because it is quite nice. My only issue is that this frosting is starting to get a little warm, so it isn't holding as well as I would like. That's the one thing I really do miss about working in an actual bakery. The area is usually kept cool so that the room temperature itself doesn't make the frosting melt all on its own. I think it's 70 something degrees in here, so just the room temperature alone is making the frosting so I can't guarantee the rose I make is going to look like a very nice rose. Let's fill all these in. Actually, one more thing I can show you. Aside from the big frosting roses, there is a small rose type that we make. Can I put this down a bit more without falling over? I think I can. Alrighty then. So, what you do, these little tiny rose buds that we usually do in combine them with a larger rose. We usually do vines coming out from the rose and put little rose buds here or there. So what you do is you make like a heart shape, like you draw up and down and then up to connect them. And when you do that, up and connect them, you put a little leaf on the bottom of that, and you have yourself a camera that doesn't want to focus right. You have yourself a nice little rosebud. Isn't it cute? But I'm going to ruin it and just start putting frosting all around it. Whoopsie. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Ba-doop-a-doop. You can tell with every successive cupcake that I've cared less and less and less about this. Lol. All right. So, now we have the adhesive frosting on these cupcakes. So now we're going to go ahead and put the centers on them. And the centers, like I mentioned, are going to be Reese's mini cups. Gotta hold my breath again as I open this up. Whew. Whew, that's strong. Oh. Alrighty then. So, we have a mini Reese's cup, and we are going to push this in to the exact center. There we go. The original idea or recipe that I got this from had them using a Rolo's thing. I'm not sure what a Rolo's actually is. I didn't know they existed until after I was unable to eat chocolate, so I've never had the reason to really look into them too much. But they did not sell Rolo's at the grocery store that I went to prepare for this, so I just grabbed the next best thing. My beautiful wife is going to be the one eating these, and she likes peanut butter cups. So I don't see any problem in substituting them. They might be a little smaller. I don't know how large Rolos actually are, but whatever. And luckily this thing has a resealable bag, so I can get this stuff away from me. All right, now we're gonna grab our marshmallow, and we're gonna start putting the petals on. Do one. They're kind of sticky on the top, so I want to make sure they're properly connected and they aren't going to separate with my finger. And 2. Down you go. And 3. Here we go. And just 2 more. And 4. They're sticky. They're sticky. And 5. Ooh, and these came out looking nice. And voila, we have daisy cupcakes. Isn't this cute? It's cute. It's super easy. Like, if I saw this at a party, I would go gaga for it because it's just so simple. I love it. All right, let me pop the rest of these petals on. The only downside is that chopping up all of these marshmallows individually, doing this in a large quantities, I'd probably only want to do a dozen at most. Like, I wouldn't want to go out of my way and make like a whole 24 of these or more for a party. Like, I would not be down for that. What I would probably do is if I had like a fancy cupcake stand that I was displaying these on, I would do the first couple layers with all of this, but then for the rest of the cupcakes, I just do alternating yellow or white. That way these things would still be the focal piece. They'd still be the thing that everyone looks at and goes, oh, I love it, it looks so good. But then if they didn't want the marshmallow, they didn't want the chocolate, they could just go for just a generic vanilla cupcake that has the colors and it would still go great. Look great on a table. But I don't know if it would be as appreciated as I would like it to be. Because that's the problem, you know. You spend all this time making these fancy cupcakes. All people do is say, hey, they look really nice, and then shovel them into their pie holes, or cupcake holes in this case. You get the exact same amount of gratitude if you just, you know, ordered cupcakes from Publix. So it's, you know, it's an effort result sort of thing. You got to balance it out. One time, my wife is tired of me telling this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. One time, at my wife's old job, she used to work at a family restaurant. They were having a Christmas party. And at first, I didn't really want to go. I wasn't very fond of her coworkers. They weren't very fond of me. When we were dating, when we were long distance, they spent a lot of time trying to convince her that our relationship wasn't real because we'd never met in person. And it wasn't good. They were not very nice. So I was not very keen on going to this Christmas party until they told me, oh, well, we're going to have a dessert contest. And this one girl that I really, really did not like was like, oh, a dessert contest? I'll enter. And that it lit the fires in my eyes. Like the spirit of the challenge, of the rivalry was on. So I decided I was going to smoke them bitches. I was going to blow them out of the water. Here we are. Look at these. Aren't they cute? I'm going to grab the container and get them set up real quick. So anyway, to finish my story. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go all out. So what I did was I went to the specialty shop that sells a whole lot of like really, really eclectic kind of stuff. You can find things there that you never knew you needed. that you've never seen before. So I went and I looked, because sometimes they have like fancy foreign candies. So I figured I could find something that no one else would ever think of putting on a cupcake, and I could include it into a design. And what they had, because it was around Christmas time, was marshmallows, these bright green marshmallows that were shaped like Christmas trees. And I made some red velvet, and I didn't put the marshmallow on top of the cupcake because that would be too obvious. No, I baked the marshmallow into the cupcake so that when they bit into it, they came away with a mouthful of cake and marshmallow, but the inside had a bright green shape of a Christmas tree. And of course I did some shaved chocolate on top to make it look like snow. It looked really, really, really cute. And I brought this in to the Christmas party, which was absolutely abysmal. No one else really wanted to be there. And I put mine next to everyone else's. And I'm looking, and yeah, some people made some cookies, some people made Rice Krispies. And then that one person, that bitch, who I wanted to smoke so badly, she brought in a platter of cookies bought from the Publix bakery. Like, she didn't even make it. She brought it in, the stickers were gone, but it was on the platter from the bakery, and everyone who knew anything knew that that bitch didn't make those, right? It was pretty obvious. It was pretty transparent. But she was willing to put it into the competition like she'd made it herself. And I was just like, yeah, talk a big game. In the end, half the party was drunk. The other half was high. This one guy was so fucking high, he was literally just going through the buffet line and just getting boxes upon boxes of food that no one else was eating. He left with like 4 or 5 boxes of food just in his hands. Just like, he went off to have his own Christmas party. Good for him. But they ended up just not having it. They ended up not having the competition. They just said, yeah, well, it's late. We're tired. Everyone, good night. Merry Christmas. I was so pissed. I was so upset. I was like, no, I have to prove my superiority. Everyone looked at my cupcakes and went, wow, they look so good. And they took a bite and they go, oh, the marshmallow inside, that's so creative. And the other competitors all kind of looked at each other like, no, we shouldn't have done this. We should have done this. Gada's got us beat. Gada has us beat. So, that was my story. I forget how I got onto that. But yeah, so here are the cupcakes. Oh, they're already falling over. So yep, daisy cupcakes, sunflower cupcakes. Didn't quite pan out the way I wanted it to, but that's good to know. Honestly, I should really stop trying to do super fancy recipes. I think these ones are cuter. Honestly. Like, it required less effort, took a lot less time. I don't think I really showed any sort of like skill at making them, but in the end, they look nice. So maybe next stream I'll try to find some more simpler recipes, stuff that you guys can probably recreate at home without too much hassle. Because these sunflower cupcakes are kind of disappointing. Jessica will love them, but yeah. Yeah, they are cute. Maybe if I wasn't trying to do specifically sunflowers, if I had like pink or maybe blue, these would look a little nicer. They look more like a generic flower as opposed to anything in particular. But if I brought these to a party, everybody would love them. Let me put these out of the way real quick. And I'm going to see this frosting is a little too warm, but I can try. I can try and show you how I would go about making a frosting rose. So, first thing I would need, I had it. I pulled it out. Oh, I see it. It's right up here. Okay. Hello. My screen has gone completely black. Of course. I can't see a thing you guys are saying. There we go. Yes, so this little piece of technology is called a rose nail. Depending on how professional, like how important and how expensive the baker doing this is. Hello, Arm. they will make the rose on top of this and then just sink it right into the cake. If it's meant to be like something that's specially like carved apart, I guess, like for weddings where they only actually eat it, break into the first top of it, and the rest is just for show mostly. However, there is a way of getting the rose off of this, and I'm going to be attempting it. So, how do I don't know if I want to pull the camera forward or not, because you're gonna want to see this. Let me, like this. Yeah, let's do it like that. Jun, the smart ass that he is, has said rose nail and rose tip. Where's the rose ... torso? Well, we're gonna make it right here. So, first thing that we gotta do is build up a center. We are going to put each petal individually onto this thing, but we need to have something that actually holds it all together. So, I'm gonna build it up, and it's a little weak on one side, so I'm gonna go around and make a little tower like this. All right, focus on my camera. Yeah, so this is what we're gonna put the petals on. Now, I'm gonna come down here. I normally do this like right close to myself so I can actually see what I'm doing. Camera, yeah, focus on that, not me. All right, so the thicker end is to the bottom. I don't know if you can see it through all the frosting, because the thinner end is what makes the top lip of each petal curve over a little bit when gravity grabs it, so it makes it look more realistic. I don't know if I can actually do it with this frosting, but we're going to try. So we do 1, and then 2, and then 3. All right, so here's the top bit, and you can already see, if the camera will focus, that it's starting to look a little bit like the inside of a rose, which is, move closer around the camera. All right, now, whoops, it's already falling over, of course. Now the next layer, we're gonna do a little bigger petals, and then the largest, so 1, 2, come on, 3, I don't think it's gonna hold its shape. Gravity, no. 4, okay, you see? I wish I could control how this thing focuses. Yeah. All right. And last round, right into the center. Now, on the bottom, I got to tip it out a little bit because I want these petals to be flatter, so it looks like the rose is unfurling. Yeah, oh no, it's melting. That's okay. And voila, we have a little frosting rose. And the camera focuses just in time. Look at that. It's nice, isn't it? All right. I'm going to quickly put the camera up. Or no, I'm going to leave it down here. I'm going to tilt it down so you can see me try to attach it onto this cupcake here. All right. Now, if I'm making multiple roses, I need this tip to make more. So what I'm going to do is grab a clean pair of scissors. And because of how melty this is, I don't think this is going to work out, but I'm going to give it a go. So if this flops, so I get under here, and I just kind of snip into it slightly, just enough to lift it up. And then I set it down where I want it, and I snip the scissors together, and then I slowly pull them out. And here we go. We now have a rose on our cupcake. I could do this for a whole bunch of cupcakes. I don't normally like doing whole roses unless I'm doing like a sheet pancake or like a round cake, because the effort that it takes to make each individual rose, once I've done it 2 or 3 times, I'm done. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this again, because then I start making mistakes because I stop paying attention. Normally, if I have cupcakes that they want roses, I'll do that rosebud thing, but I'll add little green leaves in there to make it look a little more realistic, and they love it. They eat it all up. Well, it's cupcakes, of course they do. Alrighty then. Well, that, unfortunately, about does it for me and this stream. There is one more thing that I can do, however, if I get my gloves off real quick, because somebody has started whining. They are awake and they would like some attention. So I can show you guys real quick how big the potatoes have been getting. Hello? Hello, babies? Can you see them in there? That is Seymour in the back, and that's Marcy in the front. Hello. Who would like to volunteer? We have some people who would like to see you. You know what? Hold on. Before I... Oops. Gotta put this down for a second. I forgot I have 2 of them, but I only have 1 hand active. I'm going to grab the little basket. Come here, babies. Yes, Marcy, you can go in there. And let's grab Seymour, my little boy. My precious little boy. Let me put you down so I can get a better grasp of you. Oh, Marcy went pee, so I think she's the best bet. So here's little Marcy. Don't squirrel around so much. Hi. Yes, hello. Isn't she cute? She's so big now, too. You gonna let me? Let me grab her brother, who is... Oh, he's still using the restroom. Hold on. You good yet, boy? No, they're not good. They want the bippy. They want the bippy. Bad. You done? All right, let's say hello. Say hello. Hello. He's being a little bugger recently. They've started eating dry food. Not dry food. They started eating wet food. They started eating canned food, is what I'm getting at. And he has decided he likes the canned food a lot better than... Blip, blip. Oh, no, you're so cute. I love you. Gosh. He's decided he likes the canned food better than his formula, so he stopped wanting to eat when he's at home, because they normally only get the canned food when they're at work with mom. But that's our pup date for this week, and that is going to be it for the stream. Kind of a shorter one. We normally go a little longer than this, but actually no, I do have one more thing for you guys. This might be kind of jumping the gun, jumping the shark here, but I decided to do what all generic content creators do, and I have opened a Discord channel specifically for this, so I can stop spamming every other Discord server to tell people that I'm live. The link, the invite link, is actually, if you will scroll down a little bit where you're watching right now on Twitch, it'll be in one of the panels near the bottom. You'll see links to my Twitter, you'll see links to my YouTube channel, which is still being set up, don't bother looking at that, but you will also find the invite link to that Discord group. It's still kind of work in progress. There's still a few things that I haven't implemented. I want to get Streamlabs on here so that you guys can start earning fake currency, so you can use that on the server to get new roles and whatnot. Guys, I'm trying to do an outro. Can you just wait a second, please? I'm coming, I promise. But yeah, if you guys want to check that out, I'd love to see you. I'd love to talk to you. And until next week, I guess that's it. My name is Gata. This has been Coop Cakes, and I'll see you guys later. Good night. Yes, I want to end the stream.